One of the biggest and most successful animes of the past several years has been, without a doubt, Rent a Girlfriend. Some of you may be thinking, I am being sarcastic here. No, I am not. I wish I was. But the reality is that this show is fucking huge. There is tons of merch. Every season has been one of the most watched seasons according to both Mal and Live Chart. And I believe at the time of recording, a fourth season is about to be announced, as well as the manga always being a big seller no matter where you go. This, for a rom-com show in an era where isekai and big shonen have literally consumed the planet, is kind of a big deal. Because currently, we're sort of seeing this pushback from big shonen with the rise of other genres and shoujo and all those things, but yet Rent-A-Girlfriend still remains sort of this focal point in the anime community. Every season has been the show to watch and to fucking hate on. Multiple people, multiple Twitter threads and online sites are dedicated to dissecting every second of this show and talking about how it is the biggest piece of trash ever, and because you all keep watching it, they keep making it. Did we not learn anything from Velma? If you want something to fail, don't talk about it. But that means, why am I talking about this today? Well, I'd like to kind of do something different. Instead of just rambling about how bad it is for 10 minutes, I'd like to maybe dissect it and maybe figure out what keeps this show going and why it's successful. Because while many people want to say like, it's because of waifus and it's because of self-insert creepy parasocial nonsense, which is probably part of it, I would like to be that guy who posits that there must be something here that keeps people coming back season after season, almost continually since I think summer 2020 is when season 1 came out. That's a big deal. There's a lot to consume with this, frankly, massive franchise. So without further ado, we should probably start off with just the show, how it kind of started off. Obviously, it cannot be ignored the fact that Rent-A-Girlfriend premiered kind of in the height of COVID. I think I remember the anime season came out, there was like 5-6 other shows that people were talking about. In a current anime climate where you can have anywhere from 20 to 30 shows every season, and everyone is pining and giving their hot takes for why their favorite is the best one, this gave this series a lot of breathing room. I think this was like ReZero was the big thing at the time. And in a lot of ways, this show and that show do kind of go after the same demographic. Now, obviously, I said I wasn't going to just bitch about waifu obsession here, but I do think it cannot be understated that this show does appeal to a lot of people just looking for some just fun waifu escapism. Like, people bitch on and on about how the main character just goes consequence-free as he does crazy shit to crazy shit, but I think for a lot of people, sometimes they just want that wacky, goofy, silly stupidity. And also, I should stress, people say that this is like the worst show ever. There are a lot worse romantic comedies where one of the characters is way more despicable. With Kazuya, it's just turned into there's just so many episodes of him being a creepy pervert that I think it just sticks out more. So there's those few factors, but again, a lot of this show's success I think was just right place, right time. I also think the show does know how to appeal to its audience in the right ways, and I'd be lying if sometimes I don't fall for that. Like, again, you look at those girls and look at how they're always dressed. If I'm correct, their outfits are based off of actual fashion designs and are probably inspired by real world models as well. And so when you look at them, like, their outfits always convey their personality, they always convey their character and what they are. That's a big deal because nowadays, what is one of the biggest trends? VTubers, where often a lot of people get into a VTuber because of an interesting avatar, which then is enough of a gateway for them to get into the characterization. And Rent-A-Girlfriend is kind of capitalizing on it. I even remember season 2 opens with what feels like a VTuber introduction video. They know what they're going for with this show, and they know who they're targeting. And you look at how the show also uses a lot of its in-universe elements. I kind of like the way, especially in this newer season, where they did use like internet stuff like crowdfunding or talking about kind of like using simp culture to your advantage and sort of all these little things, I think are just kind of like done in a way that's different enough to where I think they do stand out. I also think we should just in general talk about the animation of this show. All 3 seasons look really fucking good. And again, you can't always say, oh, it's the fan service, but I think there's more to it than that. There's a lot of great visual gags in this show, a lot of great timing, a lot of great editing. All these just kind of little things you don't notice, but then become the thing that keeps you coming back. I noticed a lot of people gave season 1 a pass and said, no, season 2 is where it gets so much more worse. Well, I can't really say I prefer one over the other. They kind of just blend together after a while. I don't really think that one is better than the other. I think for a lot of people, by the time you get through season 2, you're maybe used to a lot of the tricks, and how the editing makes the show look funnier maybe just doesn't affect you anymore. I don't know, if I feel like I'm going kind of easy on this show, it maybe is 'cause I am. I kind of just feel like for all of people's bitching, like I think it is mostly just harmless and stupid. But yeah, I think there's a lot of that, and I think all of those elements were enough to get people through, just the fact that it is funny enough. And you know what? I'll say it. I think the characters kind of do have chemistry. I don't think they really have romantic chemistry. A lot of that is the bad writing. The big problem with Rent-A-Girlfriend's writing is that it wants to be a really mean-spirited comedy about fucking psychos and assholes, but because it needs to market these waifus and make a fuck ton of money off figures and other merch, and hell, it honestly wouldn't shock me if there's clothing tie-ins, considering all the clothes are based on real fashion looks. You can't really go far enough with the humor. Like, imagine if Kazuya really was just this brain-dead idiot simp instead of them trying to give him a character arc that doesn't work. And imagine if Chizuru was really just some sociopath just like stringing him along. You could really go into some mean-spirited humor, because no matter how you look at it, all these people are kind of bad people. Or like make Ruka even more insane, or Mommy even more of a fucking psychopath. Like, there's a lot you could do with these characters. They just don't, because they need them to, like I keep saying, stay marketable and stay waifus for people who are going to just sort of graft themselves onto Kazuya and imagine they're the ones with all these pretty girls. Trust me, I've met some of these people. They exist. But yeah, and so I think at this point we should probably get into where all this accumulates with season 3. Now, people I know who have read the manga say season 3 is the best arc, and this is where it kind of becomes this coming of age story, and there's a lot of good drama. And here's what I will say. I think all that is to a certain extent true. I do feel like if you stuck with the first 2 seasons of this show and endured all the videos of people shitting on it and all the hate watches and all that stuff, it feels like you were rewarded here. Kazuya, for a lot of it, stops being the selfish dickhead he always is and genuinely dedicates himself to helping Chizuru, the woman he loves, to obtain her dream. Chizuru is now starting to see Kazuya as more than just some like idiot simp, and like a genuine guy who is like evolving and growing to be there for her. Even the way they use the other characters, because they do sort of play it a lot more straight in this season, although I do think there were some pretty funny jokes. A lot of the other characters, Ruka is a lot more helpful. Sumi's got some good moments. I don't think Mommy was in any of them, but yeah, like there was good stuff. Or heck, the new girl, she's funny. I like that she's not simping over Kazuya and she's like actually trying to help him. Yeah, it's kind of weird the way it's done, but the actress did a good job. All the actors in this show do great considering how bad the material is sometimes. And yeah, it does have its moment of accumulation. You had your reward for giving it in. The scene where Chizuru's grandmother dies is really well done and strong and great. Granted, it is then ruined because it's ruined by a joke about ferrets or something. And the last couple episodes are kind of trash because Kazuya goes on a date with Sumi he's got to pay for. Then he pays for the whole day with Chizuru, and it just turns into the generic stuff. But that final bit where Chizuru also, I hate the fact that like Kazuya had to sit around and wait before he did anything to help her. This woman who he knows has like nobody now. And you make the argument, maybe that's in line with his character. Maybe it's the right thing to do to let her have some alone time. But I feel like you did a decent enough job of showing him grow this arc to try and be more of a better person for her. I kind of feel like you should have just do rom-com logic and make it he's immediately there and helps with everything and is there for her, instead of needing to mope around and complain and simp even more. That's really where I think the whole thing fell apart. But that final bit where she finally breaks down and him being like, I don't know what to do, I just need to try, I think is strong enough. I think you were rewarded for putting up with the bullshit and you got your conclusion. Unfortunately, the manga is still ongoing. People keep talking about Kazuya's pool boner. I don't even actually remember what that's about. I don't fucking care. And yeah, that will forever be the problem this show, as I've alluded to several times in this video. The fact that it is a big franchise, the fact that it is a huge moneymaker, and the fact that there are a lot of people who will continue to support this franchise because it makes them feel things. It is forever going to be kind of bad because it's corporately owned and precise and calculated in its marketing. So all in all, do I actually like Rent-A-Girlfriend and recommend it to you or anybody? No, it is really not good. It is funny, but it is insufferable and icky a lot of the time. But I wanted to take a few minutes and give it its due and just talk about why it works for so many people. And if it works for you, I think for the vast majority of chemically balanced people, there's nothing wrong with you. You just enjoy a little raunch. Now, if you'll excuse me, I am off to start the new raunch this season and see if I'll have the same bizarre journey I was put through on this one. So, as always, tell me what you thought about Rent-A-Girlfriend in the comments section below. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you have another theory for its success? Do you like these kinds of videos where I just kind of like talk about what something is and just kind of be a little bit more objective with it? Tell me about that below. And as always, click to like, click to subscribe, and join me for more bizarre waifu baiting as we continue to go through our path of degeneracy.